I'm all about the workers, whether they be foreign workers or whether it be workers from here. And what I see happening these days is a lot of people jumping on the bandwagon of putting down foreign workers.
Right.
The natives, or sorry, the settlers, let's call it, feel that something has been taken away from them when what's happened is they've lost their solidarity and all out for themselves. And then as you group together, if you come together for everybody's mutual benefit, including those temporary foreign workers, you will actually have the manpower to affect change and get back maybe where we were after the Second World War.
Hey, fellow workers, I am Kim Siever, and you are tuning in to episode 7 of season 5 of the Alberta Worker Podcast. We are broadcasting from the homeland of the Nitsitsapi. We are a proud member of the Labor Radio Network, as well as the Harbinger Media Network, and I am pleased to announce today's guest, Rene Giesler. Welcome, Renee.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you betcha. Glad to have you on here. Looking forward to the discussion. Yeah, we'll just have you tell us your life story, where you grew up, what family life was like, where you went to school, that sort of thing, what life was like for a younger Renee, and then your personal labor history, first job, subsequent jobs, what you're doing now, the journey you took to get there. And then you can either intertwine those or show them separately. It's up to you. But either way, the floor is yours.
Oh, thank you very much, Kim. And hello, fellow workers out there. Yeah, my labor history started at a rather young age. My first actual job that I paid taxes on, I was 9 years old. I was a paper carrier for the Vancouver Sun. That was pretty cool because it gave you some pocket money. I thought I was rich at the time. Taught me a little bit how business works, and you always had a couple of clients there that were always late on their payments. So that kind of set me up for what I was working into that I didn't realize I was working into.
Yeah, I had a flyer route when I was a little bit older than that.
Yeah.
But that was back when you had to go into the customer's door and ask them for money.
Yeah. Yeah. And you had to collect it and then submit it. And I mean, they were trusting us pretty good. And like I got grandfathered in from the older kids on my block because they moved on going to high school. So I took over at 9. Normally they wouldn't let you start till you were about 14. So I did that from about 9 to 14. And I actually paid my own way to go visit my father's homeland in Germany.
Oh, wow.
And when I was there, I got to chip off my own pieces of the Berlin Wall. I didn't realize what I was doing at the time.
So it all started with you.
Well, I got some great pictures of me jumping through the wall, but I thought that was freedom, and I didn't realize that I was just joining a wage slave situation. But anyway, that's down the road a bit.
Yeah.
Oh, that was great, and it was fun. Kept me fit because you had your bike and met a lot of people, learned how to talk to people, and I read the paper all the time, right? My family was quite, let's say, news savvy or interested in the news and what was going on. I grew up as a French person in the Lower Mainland, so that was kind of interesting. And those were the days when they were still fighting for French schools to save the language and whatnot. There was a lot of that sort of going on. And then after I did that, went to Germany, I came back, I went into gas jockeying and tire changing, right? And I did that for several years. Got my first hernia, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, my first job outside of high school was a gas jockey, actually.
Well, they used to be able to tip you. We used to make good money on tip.
Yeah, I remember that.
We're full service stations. I worked for Husky, Chevron, and Shell.
Okay.
In different areas because I was already moving around at that time doing the odd construction work because I decided that school wasn't quite for me because I was better read than most of my teachers. I probably should have stayed. I did go back later. Yeah, so that was interesting and it was fun and you got to learn a lot about cars and whatnot. And I'm a bit of a gearhead, so that was really cool.
I knew nothing about cars before I became a gas jockey, so that really helped a lot for me.
Yeah, and I was starting to learn to drive at about the same time, right? So back when gas was 30 cents a liter. Right. So and you thought the gravy train would never end and didn't expect these wildfires. Anyway, that's another story. But yeah, so did that. That was fun. I got into a bit of mechanics and always been handy with my hands, and I like seeing how things work and deconstructing them and reconstructing them. And so I ended up apprenticing as a carpenter, building hotels for interest for, I'm not sure if we can swear on this podcast, but I was under a company. I won't say the first word, but they were called FNE. So they had the contract to do the forming and framing for all of Panorama Ridge, Mont Tremblant, and Sun Peaks. So that's where I apprenticed. And they were called FNE. It stood for effing near everything.
Oh,
That's where I really got into construction. And I love the fact that I build with my hands. At the end of the day, you could say, hey, look,
yeah.
I was part of this. It really got me into building. I built my first log cabin on Crown land in Invermere, just outside. It's still there to this day, and it's used as a way station for hikers, which is kind of cool. It was a union shop. Things were going well and whatnot. And then they started introducing legislation, and everybody became a sub trade.
Right.
And then unfortunately, the solidarity amongst workers kind of slid away and the wages started stagnating. A perfect example is the boys that work under me, although I pay them a little more through our trades co-op. That's another story. I was making more as an apprentice carpenter, $32 an hour in the 90s, than they're making now as a red seal.
Wow.
Like, like that is just some food for thought.
Right.
And then I started understanding because I moved from there to a sub trade to a general contractor. And so I started doing that at a young age, right? I started my first business at 20 years old, did quite well, sold that one and sold the contract because I decided I wanted to travel a little bit, but I traveled as a carpenter. So anywhere I went, I worked in Baltimore, I worked in Mexico, I worked up north. It was a great life for a single young man.
Sure.
Then I started having children and started realizing the power that a union or a group of people, let's say a co-op, has power and collectivity because one man alone screaming into the void doesn't bring home the bacon the way you should, right? And if you look at our legislations today, you can see it's pretty horrible for these sub trades. I just recently finished a project and I had to help a bunch of temporary foreign workers that are brought in to suppress wages, but that's not their fault. But they were having issues because things have been slowing down, and I had to give them the right avenues so that they made sure they got what they needed to get for their time here before they're sent home because there's no work.
Sure.
That, in a nutshell, is essentially my labor trip.
All right.
You can throw in some questions in there.
Sure.
I'm kind of like short on flowery words, but I'm all about the workers, whether they be foreign workers or whether it be workers from here. And what I see happening these days is a lot of people jumping on the bandwagon of putting down foreign workers.
Right.
The natives, or sorry, the settlers, let's call it, feel that something has been taken away from them. When what's happened is they've lost their solidarity and all out for themselves. And then as you group together, if you come together for everybody's mutual benefit, including those temporary foreign workers, you will actually have the manpower to affect change and get back maybe where we were after the Second World War.
Yeah, I mean, they're right. Something has been taken away from them, but it's not the temporary foreign workers who took it from them.
You're mad at the wrong people.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So you said that your first job was delivering the Vancouver Sun. So you grew up in the Lower Mainland?
Yes, I grew up in North Delta.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I
All
was a
right.
lucky white settler.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we lived in Surrey for a few years, so
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. And what's your connection to Alberta?
My connection to Alberta is, well, I went there to get my Red Seal ticket at SAIT, right? So I
Okay.
lived there for several years, worked there, built a bunch of houses up Cochrane Way also.
Oh,
My youngest is actually there with my ex-wife, and they live in Calgary. So we were together there for a while.
cool. The family you grew up in, were you an only child? Did you have siblings?
No, I had one sibling,
Okay. Older, younger?
my younger sister, 4 years younger than I am, and I'm 50 years old, so everybody
Okay.
can do the math.
What's she doing now?
Currently, she works for a company that does quitting smoking devices, which she
Oh,
keeps pushing on me because I still smoke.
okay.
Yeah, she does quite well. She's the mother of one, single mother. She's doing
Oh,
quite well for herself. Yeah.
nice.
And yeah, she lives in White Rock.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, construction and smoking going together. Who would have thought?
Yeah, go figure, right?
What did your parents do when you were growing up?
My father's first ticket in German before he immigrated to Canada was a typesetter.
Oh,
And then he came here, worked in the plastics industry, and then injured himself and then became a graphic artist.
Oh, nice. Okay. So some connection to typesetting.
Yeah, well, it's similar because he was doing typesetting for like printing on plastic bags. He worked for Crown Back. I actually worked, I forgot about that. I worked the extruder operator at Crown Back in the summers when I was going to school.
Okay. Wow. And your mom, what did she do?
She was a registered nurse and she was from New Brunswick.
Okay. Yeah, my mom was a nurse when I was growing up as well. That's pretty
They
cool.
make the best mothers.
Well, sort of. You don't get to stay home from school sick
No,
as
no,
often.
you can't pull that one over their eyes.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So, a question that I ask all of my guests is how has your intersections of marginalization ever influenced your experiences as a worker? If there's any part of your identity that is marginalized, and that could be, ethnicity or language or disability or sexual orientation or religion or anything like that, how has that influenced your experiences as a worker? And that's through either customers or fellow workers or bosses, anything like that.
Well, the biggest situation I had is right after I sold my first company and then went to my next, I injured myself. I broke my leg. I was a full leg cast because I was a young buck still. I was in a full leg cast for a year
Wow.
to make it heal because they didn't want to pin me. Yeah, I got into opioids,
Okay.
ease with the pain and help me get back to work faster.
Right.
When it comes to marginalization, it was more so the fact that most people didn't understand about that situation. And that followed me for a while because I got a little deep into that crazy place. I actually ended up homeless while I was still working, funny enough.
Wow.
Right? Which you see a lot of these days. A lot of people don't realize that people in that tent actually have a full-time job.
Yeah, it's funny when they tell homeless people to go get a job. A lot of them already do.
Yeah, but they just can't afford to live.
Yeah.
Let's just say you're making $5,000 a month and you're living in Vancouver or even Calgary for that matter, or Edmonton for even that matter, and your rent is about $3,000 for a two-bedroom house. Let's just say you, your family, or one child or whatever, right? And then you've got 2,000 to stretch for three people over the period of a month. It's not going to work out very well. It's not sustainable.
Absolutely. Yeah, if we didn't own our house, like I don't know how we'd be able to live because there's no way we could afford the cost of rent right now.
Well, it's ridiculous. If people can pay that amount of rent and they've been doing it for an extended period of time, why wouldn't you just give them the mortgage? Because the mortgage is cheaper.
Yeah, right.
Living in the Imperial Core, there should be no homeless people.
Yeah,
That's, my opinion. People are welcome to come at me on that one, but it's like from being on the street and what I learned is like it's really hard to be on the street and get out. I mean, I was lucky. I had a lot of people looking out for me that cared for me, right? Some people don't have that, right? I do a lot of outreach with several associations here. We were just building a project right in the downtown east side there, right? Which is a housing project for the Aboriginal Land Trust. And the vitriol from the workers on that site towards people on the street was unreal.
yeah,
And I mean, I did work on them on that and it kind of got better and da da da, but it doesn't matter. And because I always say, it's like, hey, man, you're just one paycheck away.
yeah. Literally.
It's like you might think you got it all together, but what happens when you can't service the debt that you've incurred because you're a wage slave?
Exactly.
Some people don't like when I use that terminology, but it is what it
Yeah, it's true. You don't have any
is.
choice. Like everything you need to live costs money, and you need that money to come from somewhere. So,
Well, and then it's like people say, well, you could say no if you didn't want to. I was like, can I?
yeah, exactly.
It depends on how much is in my bank account.
Right.
My ability to say no is direct result of what's in that bank account.
It's funny, people's landlords, they want money in lieu of rent. So
Yeah.
you can't pay them with well wishes.
Yeah.
So opioids and you were homeless for a bit?
Luckily enough, I climbed out of it, got off the opioids, and moved along. Did some serious soul searching and whatnot. But when you're living and it's minus 40 outside, yeah, the drugs are a nice option, keep you warm.
So how did you get your first break once you started pulling yourself out? Because you said that you had some people had a difficult time getting over, your opioid addiction, being homeless, but eventually you got out of that. So what was your first break that allowed you to start on that journey to get out of that?
Well, what helped me, there was a few people within my life that I knew through the trades that kind of helped me pick me up, gave me jobs so that I could reprove myself, start, rebuilding my reputation. And then it took off from there and it was great. Those guys held me up to a certain degree, but at least they helped.
Sure.
They'd also been there. Like there's a lot of people in the trades. Some people have a hard time, even guys that have come through it, they have a hard time helping the other, whereas I never did. So that's also been part of my journey is whenever I see somebody and I know they're putting it in, I always help them to get a leg up as far as I can because it was done for me. And that goes back to the sense of community and solidarity.
Yeah.
It's like don't just step over that guy. Sure, you might not have any jingle to give him, right? But you could sit there and say, "Hey, good morning. How's it going?"
Yeah.
Right?
Even just like your attitude towards the person.
Well, funny enough, the situation that happened as I was on the street and I was having a bad one, there was a friend of mine that was into trades that came down, and this was in Moncton, New Brunswick, and walked past me and goes, "Renee?" And goes, "Yeah." And he had a job. So he picked me up. He said, "Hey, let's go to work."
Oh,
Right. And so that set me back up on my path back to success.
and that's real solidarity, honestly.
Well, yeah, because nobody else was going to take a chance on the guy on the street.
Yeah.
He knew I didn't have tools. He knew I didn't have anything, but he knew I could work.
Right.
If it wasn't for that association, where would have I ended up?
Yeah. Yeah. It's totally true.
There's all this talk about the toxic drug crisis and whatnot, and it's a huge problem within the construction industry. And even within that industry, there's not enough supports.
Yeah.
The unions are really weak, unfortunately.
Government after government just keeps weakening the powers of the unions. And so it makes it really difficult for unions to be able to represent the workers properly. And then as a result, workers start seeing unions in a negative light.
Well, of course, because the only time you have power, just like you saw with these young ladies from the WestJet, everybody's
Right.
mad at them because you strike at the right time when it's busy, when it affects something. So if you can't respect that, what are we all doing here?
Sure.
Like we have so many different unions. I think we should go back to the roots of the IWW and just like one big union. Everybody come together, man.
Yeah.
Like let's all just general strike the hell out of this mofo.
I'm a member of IWW, so I totally get it. But at the very least, like even sectorial bargaining, you take Starbucks, for example, right, where you have to unionize store by store. It's
Yeah,
so
why?
frustrating. No wonder they can never unionize.
If capital can travel borders, why can't we?
Yeah, totally.
And that's what I think. General strike is the way. And this is something I've been preaching for the last 2.5 years, ever since everybody went back to normal after COVID, right? It's like, no, 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 guys. No, no, no. We need to get all together and we're the people. It's like Fight Club. In Fight Club when he says, we're the people that clean your clothes, we're the people that build your buildings, do this.
Yeah.
Don't fuck with us. That's what people need to understand. That's the only thing that's going to change their material condition.
Yeah, it's funny because products have more freedom to cross the border than the people who build those products do.
Oh, yeah. Right. And as soon as you've outlived your usefulness, see you later.
Oh yeah, totally. Like it's just a line on a spreadsheet.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I love bean counters. I always tease the developers. I'm just like, oh, so you're a bean counter. I had one bean counter on this job that I was doing in East Van there. And he's like, oh, yeah, the site looks a lot better since you showed up and this, blah, 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 because I was helping out another company. Yeah. So, I'm really happy that I built this. And I'm like, did you put on a tool belt?
Yeah. Yeah, when people say stuff like, Jeff Bezos built Amazon. It's like, no, he didn't. Those hundreds of thousands of workers built it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
He started it. He did not build it.
no. It's the people that make it function every day. This is the whole design back to wage, right? If you can't afford to survive and you've got dependents, which majority of people do, whether they be friends, children, significant others,
Right.
elder family members, whatever. That's why I say all the unions should come together. Is there's no war chest to make sure that everybody can eat. Nobody is going to be able to actually make the point because it can't just be one day.
Yeah.
You got to shut the mofo down for at least a week. We'll just take Canada. We'll take Canada, right? Never mind worldwide, which is what I'd prefer to see. Everybody in the service industry, everybody in construction industry, everybody. But see, now you run in back to temporary foreign workers. They're on visas. If they don't show up to work, they get sent home.
Right. Yeah.
So if you only got 3 Canadians on the job site and everybody underneath them, so those guys have to keep working or else they get sent home.
Yeah.
Right. And there's nobody taking care of their interest. It's getting better now, but it's not as good as it should be.
Sure.
Right. Because it's like a Work Safe BC or what they call it in Alberta. I can't remember the Alberta Work Safe, WCB, whatever you want to call it. You can say no to unsafe work. How?
Yeah. They just tell you, okay, well, I'm gonna,
Okay, you're fired.
and they hold all your documentation too. So,
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you do?
and you're stuck with them. It's a single employer visa. Like
Yeah.
you can't go and work somewhere else.
No, you can't shop around. You can't better your situation. It's essentially, what did I call it? Wage slavery.
Exactly. Yeah. You mentioned a co-op. I'm interested if you could talk a little bit more about that.
We're a trades co-op. There was a group of us a few years ago, right before COVID, funny enough, about 2016. We got together and we were just sick of getting our arses handed to us by these developers and whatnot. We banded together and it's free to anybody to join and be part of. There's a share that you got to buy, kind of like any other co-op, right? It's like 25 bucks for the year for the voting right, right? But everybody gets together. We pool our resources to a degree. We have a lot of like companies that are part of it, smaller sub trades. So it's like kind of a group of sub trades getting together, take care of each other. We have a development that we're planning to do hopefully in the next couple of years on the Sunshine Coast. We brought some property as a group.
Oh,
We're gonna build ourselves our own little housing co-op
oh wow.
on Indigenous land. Thank God they gave us the lease.
Yeah,
And just work together. And then always better if you're in a group,
right.
And we also do microloans to our group members. They keep re-upping me as general secretary, and I'm getting a little tired of it.
Yeah, that's always the thing. As soon as you start some sort of a position, then no one ever wants anybody else to take that position. They just keep putting
Actually,
you on.
I don't mind it. I'm good at it and whatnot. I mean, some guys are getting more involved now because now it's 2026, so we've been around now a decade.
Oh wow.
And we're getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And that's why I was mentioning the unions and the general strikes and, working together. It's like, okay, if there's a problem on a site, I'm just going to use construction because that's what I know best, right? There's a problem on a site, some guy didn't get paid by the developer, whatever. All the trades on that site should walk off.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
But he will be paid by the end of the day. We've done this. We've literally done this.
That's why unionization is so important because if one person walks off a job, they'll just get replaced. But if all 100 of you or whatever, they walk up, they can't hire 100 people all of a sudden.
No, and their schedule will go to hell. It's already in hell anyway.
Yeah, that's why class solidarity is so important. You got to be in it together. You have to. That's the only way you have the power.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's pretty neat. What's the name of your co-op?
TSM Co-op, Total Skills Management.
Oh, okay. Cool.
If you go to tsmcoop.ca, so tsmcoop.ca, you get a little blurb, needs a little update,
Okay.
but we're getting there.
Yeah, I'll put that into the episode description.
Yeah, I'll send you.
Any final thoughts for our listeners?
Yeah, get out there and strike when you see injustice happening.
Yeah, and if you see other people striking, join them.
Yeah, exactly. If we all stop, they have no choice.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly true. If people are interested in following you and some of the things you have to say on different issues, is there anywhere they could do that? Website, social media, anything like that?
Yeah, you can follow me as Rene Giesler on Twitter or Ray Giesler on Instagram. There'll be some more stuff coming out. Eventually, the bsky.worker.ca will be up and running, hopefully by Labor Day.
Oh, nice. That would be pretty cool. The Saskatchewan worker followed me on Substack, so I thought, oh, starting to pick up on other places too.
Well, you were the one that gave me the idea to start that, and I was going to start it in the winter, but then I got busy with work because, something about wage slavery.
I think I remember a discussion about that. Yeah, that does sound familiar.
And then there was a certain book that I was going to get you to review my review on, which is Corporate Control by Nora Loretto.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've read a couple of her books, but I haven't read that one.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, I'll make sure to put all that into the episode description. And if people are interested in following the Alberta Worker, you can follow us on most major social media websites. You can also visit us at albertaworker.ca. And while you're there, you might as well sign up for our email newsletter. It's free, and we offer daily, weekly, and monthly subscription options. If you like this episode, please rate and review the podcast. It helps other listeners find the Alberta Worker podcast. If you want to support the Alberta Worker, as well as this podcast, please visit albertaworker.ca/support. The Alberta Worker and this podcast depend on the generous support of listeners like you. If you're interested in being a guest on the Alberta Worker, you can email us at podcast@albertaworker.ca or DM me on social media. Thanks so much, Renee, for joining us today. Thanks to the listeners for joining in. And as always, solidarity.